In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the half kneeling cable chop. We're going to talk about the muscles targeted by the exercise, how to set up for and perform the exercise, and make sure to stick around to the end where we will talk about some distinct variations of the cable chop that actually serve a slightly different purpose. But before we get into the video, hi, my name is Ryan Treadaway, founder of TreadawayTraining.com, where we turn skinny guys into jacked men. Now let's talk about the biomechanics of the half kneeling cable chop and the muscles targeted by this exercise. Focusing on the midsection, with this exercise, you'll be performing some degree of trunk rotation, which is carried out by the internal and external obliques, the rectus abdominis, and the erector spinae. Spinal flexion, which is carried out by the rectus abdominis, and lateral flexion, which is carried out by the internal and external obliques and the erector spinae. However, the main focus of the standard variation of the half kneeling cable chop is anti-extension and anti-rotation, which are performed by the rectus abdominis and transverse abdominis respectively. As these names imply, you're resisting a movement rather than actively performing a movement. Anti-extension means you're resisting spinal extension rather than performing spinal flexion. Anti-rotation means you're resisting spinal rotation rather than actively trying to rotate in the opposite direction. While the half kneeling cable chop can and should be used as an ab and oblique builder, it's important to note that this exercise is actually great at building core stability due to its focus on the transverse abdominis, which is a muscle that is often overlooked due to the fact that it lies underneath the rectus abdominis and external obliques and isn't visible. A stronger transverse abdominis will allow you to lift more weight more safely during compound lifts such as squats, deadlifts, overhead presses, and Olympic lifts. Now that we know the purpose of the exercise and which muscles we'll be targeting, let's talk about how to set up for and perform the exercise. Attach one end of a dual cable bar to a high pulley. If you don't have a dual bar attachment, you can use a rope attachment instead. And actually, I kind of prefer using a rope attachment over the dual bar anyway. Select the weight that you'll be using. Use a light weight in the beginning and work your way up so that you don't injure your back. Grab the bar or rope attachment with a double overhand grip that's slightly wider than shoulder width. Take 1 or 2 steps away from the weight stack and kneel down with your body perpendicular to the weight stack. Both knees and hips should be bent to approximately 90 degrees. Your outside leg will be the leg that is down, and the cable should be at around a 45-degree angle with the floor. For added comfort, you can place a pad or folded yoga mat under the knee that is down. Now you're ready to perform the movement. Focusing on the top arm, push the bar or rope diagonally down and away from the weight stack. Brace your core as you push the weight down. The movement should mostly be in your arms and upper back. If you don't know how to brace your core, force your midsection out in every direction. Think about if you were getting ready for someone to punch you in the stomach. And if you haven't already, go ahead and watch the video that's up in the corner where I explain how to properly brace your core, because it's a fundamental part of all compound exercises and will greatly reduce the risk of a back injury. As you return the weight to the starting position, keep your core braced and don't allow the weight to pull your ribs open. Complete the required number of reps and then switch sides. This exercise is best suited for light to moderate weight in the 8 to 20 rep range. Now, let's cover those other variations that I promised. The first variation is essentially the same exercise, but with a slight tweak that will shift the emphasis. The primary goal now will be to build the abs and obliques, and the secondary focus will be building stability in the transverse abdominis. Instead of performing a small amount of trunk rotation, spinal flexion, and spinal lateral flexion while focusing on anti-extension and anti-rotation, we will focus on performing trunk rotation, spinal flexion, and spinal lateral flexion. You will still need to keep your spine as stable as possible and keep your movements nice and controlled. You will be rotating your spine while using load after all, so you will want to be extremely careful. The setup process will be exactly the same as before. When it comes to performing the movement, as you push diagonally down and away from the weight stack with your top hand, crunch diagonally down and away with your trunk. Reverse the movement, and as your hands come back up, allow your trunk to open up and toward the weight stack, but keep your core braced throughout the movement. There are also a few variations that will work with either of the methods that we've covered so far. There's the half kneeling cable chop, but with a narrower base of support to make it more challenging to balance. High kneeling cable chops, or standing cable chops. You can also perform each of these variations with a lateral cable and a low cable, which I may cover in more detail in the future. That gives you 12 variations for each of the methods that we covered in this video. That's 24 total variations. I told you I was going to be giving you some variations. If you've tried these in the past, let me know what your favorite variation is down in the comments. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you hate it, give it a thumbs down. If you want more content just like this, consider subscribing, or you can check out one of the videos that will be up on the screen. You can also check us out on the Treadaway Training Blogcast. We're there every Saturday at 12 p.m. That's treadawaytraining.com/blog. As always, God bless you and your family, and I'll see you Saturday. As always, God bless you and your family, and we'll see you tomorrow. And we'll see you Saturday. Let me talk. All right, here we go.